Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to conduct the fourth mock interview on this channel. So, what is going to happen in this interview? I am having a candidate with me. She is having an experience of 3 years, some 2.5 years in UiPath, Orchestrator, C Sharp, and she has a knowledge of VB.NET also. During this mock interview, I am going to ask Ananya a certain set of questions and she would be answering those. Whatever questions I am asking during the mock interview would be displayed on the screen itself. In case you know the answer, feel free to write the answer in the comment box. Apart from this mock interview, there are other three more mock interviews which I have made. The links to the mock interviews are available in the description and you can refer those also. For some of the questions which I am asking during the mock interview, there are already videos which are available in the form of playlist or in the form of videos on this channel. I'll put the link in the descriptions and you can refer them also. Lastly, in case you are also an RPA aspirant and want to have such mock interview with me, all you have to do is just reach out to me in the email ID which is mentioned on the slide and which is mentioned on the description also. You have to just drop me a mail ID and don't worry, I won't reveal your identity, your company information, everything remains confidential. So this interview also, the real name of the candidate is something different. I'm just calling her by a name Ananya. So no need to worry on that front also. You just drop me a note on the email ID and we shall take it forward. Having said that, let's get started. Hi Ananya, how are you?
Hello, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So Ananya, I have received your resume for a mock interview. So this interview is purely for training and education purposes. There is no job offer associated with this interview. Neither we are working conducting it for any of the company or any of the job opportunity. This is just to give you a mock experience of an interview. Okay, so
Yes.
uh, let's get started. Can you quickly tell me about yourself and your experience?
So, sir, I have graduated in 2018, and since then I'm working in a firm.
Mhm.
I have 3 years of IT experience and 2.5 years of experience in UiPath. I have
Okay.
hands-on experience in UiPath and some extent of VB and C Sharp.
Mhm.
So I have worked till now in 5 projects in the domains like HR, banking, and finance.
Okay.
And my role in the company is to develop the automation and deploy the same in the orchestrator.
Okay.
And sometimes I also monitor the role of exception handling. Yes.
Okay. So if I understand it correctly, you have an experience of a support as well as a developer, right? So
Yes, sir.
okay, so primarily experience on development and some part goes to the support. Before I continue with
Yes.
the question, so have you done any sort of certification for UiPath?
So I have done the foundation certification from UiPath Academy.
Okay, you have done the foundation certificate from Academy. That's good. Okay, and how much comfortable are you with UiPath? Means which all tool are you aware of? Or when I say tools, I mean actually the components of UiPath. Let's say Studio, Orchestrator, Assistant, anything else which you are aware of?
So I have worked on Orchestrator,
Okay.
uh, Studio,
Mm-hmm.
and Assistant. I have not worked on SQL and UiPath Studio X and uh, all Fabric and all.
Okay. Okay, Ananya. So now my next question to would be, can you just please tell me about any of the project which you are comfortable talking of? Any one of the project which you have done in UiPath?
Uh, uh, yes, sir. So uh, I have done a project claim process automation. It was based on a US client.
Okay.
So on that project, the bot was opening the mail that we are receiving from the customer or any third party,
Mm-hmm.
and it was saving the attachments and checking whether the customer exists in our old. It is the customer is our old customer. Or it is a new.
Okay.
And if it was new, it was saving it in a review folder, and if it was an old customer, then it was saving it in another folder.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, it was uh, generating a ticket if it was valid, and
Okay.
it was then after it was sending that attachment to the department for the further process.
Okay. Okay. Got it. So, what was the frequency of the execution of this process? Daily, weekly? How the bot was scheduled?
It was triggered at the evening, so
Okay.
that how much emails are got in the morning, and it will one time at the evening it was triggered, and it will go and check from the outlook of HR that what are the things that had come daily.
Okay.
It was on a daily basis.
Okay, daily, evening, sometime you are triggering the process. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
I understand the process. So now when you say that you are opening the email and reading the, something from the email. So what are the activities in UiPath which are used to read the emails?
Uh, get Outlook email activity.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
we were getting that, and after that we are saving it by saving attachment.
Okay. So what is
We can
the, okay. Sorry to interrupt. So what is the output of get Outlook mail messages? What do you get as an output?
list. We got list.
Okay, list, only a list of
Uh,
something, right?
the mail message.
Okay, so we got a list of mail message and then we iterate and then we use a save attachment activity to save it in a folder. Okay, so now
Yes.
I believe that this is running on some different machine. So it is scheduled. So when you say save attachment, we have to save it in particular folder, right? Some kind of folder
Yeah.
we have to store. So where would the bot get the folder path from?
We were providing the folder by move. We were actually sending it to a different folder, so we were using move file attachment.
Okay.
Move something, some activity like move file or something. I'm not remembering the actual name. I guess I'm skipping it from mind. But we were using it to store that in a folder. We were giving that the path.
Okay, so move file again will require a path, right? So where exactly I have to move. So for example, by default, you are saving it in some location and then you are moving it to some location, right?
We can get it from directory. Got the get files.
Okay, so we will use directory.get files to get the path. Okay. Okay, got it.
Yes.
So now, again, one more last question on the email part, and then we can move forward. So you would have applied some filters or something to the emails, or you are just reading all the emails which are landing in the inbox.
So, as if we were getting the email which were containing the last text as let's suppose I can't
Mhm.
reveal it, like, as if dot PDF, we were given an extension which contained the attachment naming that it will be
Mhm.
downloaded, something like that.
Okay, so wherever there is an attachment and it is having an attachment of, let's say, .pdf, you just simply go and save
Yeah.
it, right? So, and how many emails, such emails you were reading on a daily basis? Means the bot is reading on a daily basis. How much? What is the volume of the emails?
So as if how much it was actually variable how much
Okay.
we got.
Mhm. Approximately a
uh,
random 10, 20, 10 emails.
yeah, maybe I guess 50, 60.
Okay, 50
How
to
much?
60 emails. Okay. Now, my next question is, so every day your bot is running. Today is Monday. Your bot ran
Yeah.
successfully. You got 60 emails with attachment. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, in your mailbox, the emails are landing, right? Today it is 60, tomorrow
Yeah.
it will be 120, next day it would be 180, next day it would be 300, 350, 400, right? So, when the bot is running on, let's say, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, how would the bot know that I have to only read these emails? Because there would be a lot of emails, right, in your folder.
So we will filter it according to date, as if
Okay.
uh,
Okay.
we will as if what is the date we can we will give the time from
Mhm.
that to that we have to read that email.
Okay, and how do we apply such kind of filter in UiPath?
So in the property panel, we can add it as if dot 8 hours dot 7 as if from this time to this time.
Okay, okay, done, got it. Thank you for that. So now we have got the emails that are stored everything in a folder, and now we have to review that whether, and the attachment type is a PDF, right? And now we have to just validate whether it is valid or not valid. Okay. Now how, so how are you going to read the data from the PDF? So first question, is the PDF a structured PDF or a unstructured PDF?
So
Means
as if
the yeah.
we have two kind of PDF as
Hmm.
if we are taking a we want all the information,
Mhm.
but we from the PDF we were working, it was specific, we were just picking some information from that. That's why we are using anchor base and get text activity, as if we are not using we didn't want the whole data to be read,
Mhm.
so that's why it was a specific PDF text, so we
Mhm.
were using as a anchor based activity.
Okay, so you are using an anchor base. So in the anchor base activity, which type or which element was specified as an anchor?
As if um, let me give me an example, as if
Mhm.
I'm having a mobile number,
Okay.
and it will take the mobile number as a anchor, and it will take the real mobile number, as if mobile number is written,
Mhm.
it is on the top, we are taking it as an anchor, and below it it is the data, as if we'll take it in get text activity.
Okay, so using the get text, you get the entire text and then you apply the anchor, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so get text and anchor you are using to get the data, then you review it, and then the department validates whether it is a new or an old one, right? So that is done. Now, I see that this process is a pretty linear process. When I say linear process, that means the steps are happening one by one, right? So what are the kind of exceptions you have handled, or what are the kinds of errors you have got while implementing this process? What are the challenges, I
So
would say, what are the challenges you had faced?
so everything was good. We were not showing any error while doing this process, but
Hmm.
after that we got stuck. We got the same number, as if uh, I'm taking the mobile number.
Hmm.
Uh, I'm taking the mobile number. It is coming again and again. So
Okay.
we were facing that issue. So we made it more dynamic for that. So it was little struggle in that point. As if we were not getting any error at that point. The program was fine, but when we were running it,
Hmm.
instead of showing the next phone number, it was showing the same phone number again and again.
Okay, and how did you manage to fix that?
So we made it more dynamic. We changed the selector so it will get the path properly.
Okay, okay. So when you say you had made the selector dynamic, right? So how do you make a selector dynamic? What is that there in UiPath that makes a dynamic selector?
So there are two variables, question mark and asterisk.
Okay.
If we want to change, if we want to replace zero or one character, we can use
Mhm.
question mark, and if we are getting more than that, that we can use asterisk for that.
Okay, okay, got it. Thank you for that. So have you used any kind of framework while implementing this process?
Is it framework in the sense of?
Robotics enterprise framework. So is this process built in which kind of it, is it built on a sequence, flowchart, RE framework? So what is the structure of this process? Means have you implemented this process in RE framework?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you have implemented this process in RE framework, and this process is a linear process, right? That means it is going to execute only once. So what is the type of transaction data which you are looping? So you understand RE framework, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have implemented this process, which is a linear process in a RE framework. That means, so I'm just talking about RE framework. RE framework is designed to have a repetitive mode. So you have something, a data table, a list of queues that iterate, and that is what becomes the transaction data. So transaction data is a
Yeah.
data table
So
that will,
it is iterating after completing a process. It is again looping and going to the email to check whether new mail came or not.
question. So we have RE framework. In the RE framework has 4 stages, right? In the init
Yeah.
stage, I opened the application, I downloaded emails, everything, right? Now the next step
Yeah.
is get transaction data. So what is happening in the get transaction data? Or
We are getting data from the queue.
we are getting data from the queue, right? So that means your process are having 2 robots, right? One is the
Yeah.
performer and one is the dispatcher, right? That means
Yes.
performer bot will be just reading and adding the data to the queue, and then there would be one more bot which would be just consuming the queues, right? So 2 robots you would have
Yes.
implemented.
Yes.
Now my question to you, so what data have you put on the queues? What data was put in a queue?
The specific things that we put on from the email, as if
Hmm.
name, mobile number, or all this ticket form,
Hmm.
address, these
Okay.
things.
Okay, these things are put on the queue. Okay. And what activity I use in UiPath to add items to the queue?
We have 3 activities for that.
Hmm.
Add queue item, add bulk queue item, and add transition item.
Okay.
So as if in add transition item, it will add only single item, and the status of it will be in progress.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you would be might be using the add queue item or add the transaction, because for the bulk you don't have the data table, right? Now there are 5 items in the queue, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so the bot processed first item successfully, second item successfully. When the bot was trying to process the third item, something unexpected happened in the system. Let's say your Outlook crashed, your folder structure crashed. So what happens to that transaction, that number 3 transaction now?
It will be in progress status.
Okay, I'll just repeat my question. So first, Monday you added 60 items to the queue. Okay.
Okay.
Out of those 60 items, 10 got processed successfully and now 50 got failed. So they are in the in process state. Correct?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Now came Tuesday. Tuesday again you got let's say 60 records, and now the queue will having 60 plus 50, that is equal to 110 records, right?
Okay.
Now Wednesday, you again, your bot came and added 60 more items. So now it would be, let's say, 200 items, and the bot was able to process only, let's say, 50 items. So every day you might keep on increasing the in process item, right? There would be a kind of backlog of in process items. So how did you manage this kind of scenario?
Sorry, sir. I don't know.
Okay, okay, no issues. Okay, Ananya, so that was about this project. So I'm just going through your CB, and you have mentioned that you have worked on global handler. Can you tell me what exactly is a global handler?
So basically, global handler can be used only one in a project. It is used to handle the error.
Mm-hmm.
If as if it is determined to as if it is designed to determine the project behavior when we are encountering any error or as execution error.
So we already have a try catch throws, right? So why do I need a global handler?
uh, it is as if it is more easy to not easy actually, reliable, as if you are using a throw activity, it will show me an error.
Mm-hmm.
It will and as if after if anything, some errors are not solved by throw error, as
Mm-hmm.
if it is not been solved by that, then global exception handler can easily solve it. As if you're using a try catch block and we are getting some error, and it is some error are not caught by that.
Okay, so
So
hmm.
it can be easily solved by global exception handler.
Now
Okay, sir.
I see that in your resume you have also mentioned that you have created a PDD, right? So what exactly is a PDD? What do you understand by PDD?
Sir, as a project design, it is matlab, as if what how a project will be executed, as if designing the solution with first, how it
Okay,
is going to work.
okay. So now my next question to you would be, there is something called SDD also, right? Which is called the solution design
Process,
document.
yeah, as if how it is going, where there are two terms,
Hmm.
PDD and SDD.
Right.
So in PDD, we sit with the business analyst and everything, and we'll see how it is going to work, as if what will be the impact, how can we do this all
Okay.
thing. And in SDD, we are getting the solution for the developers, so we can easily go through it, and by doing it, we can easily do the project as a sample by to which we can follow and do the project.
Okay. Okay. Done, not any issues. Okay, so now I just see that you have worked on lot of Excels also, right? So you have worked on HR process, you have worked on some one another process and claim process. So all is using Excels, I see, right? So in UiPath, I have two activities to read Excel. One is the Excel application scope and the other is the workbook, right? So what is the
Yes.
difference between them?
So if you're using Excel application scope, we need
Mhm.
to the Excel should be installed in our system to use it.
Okay.
As if in Workbook, it need not to be installed in the system.
Mhm.
And if the Excel is open while running the project,
Mhm.
will get an error in Workbook. But if it is it is open in Excel application scope, it is normal. We will not get any error. And Workbook is faster than Excel application scope.
Mhm.
But the disadvantage, we can say disadvantage, it support only XLSS file, but Excel applications scope supports all kinds of files as if CSV, XLSM,
Mhm.
XLSB, and all. Yes.
Okay, okay, got it, got it. Okay, so now I'll just move one or two question towards the some of the credential management thing. So you would have logged into some applications in your automation, right? So those credentials and everything, how do we manage credentials? So where exactly you keep all the user ID and the passwords for the applications?
So there are three ways we can do it. As if we
Mhm.
are as if what was the question? Where we can store the credentials, right?
User ID and the password, yeah.
Okay, sir. So there are three ways. Either we can store it in the Windows as the system, local system,
Okay.
or in the asset or in the orchestrator, or in any third party. But the most suitable way is to store it in the as a asset in orchestrator, because it is AES 256 encrypted, so
Mhm.
no one can easily encrypt it. So it is very secure for us to store it in that.
Okay. Okay. And when you say in asset, so what kind of asset it would be?
So it would be credential asset.
Okay. So now one question here, right? So we have created, I totally agree that this is AES 250 encrypted. Best way is that I have created an credential in the orchestrator. Okay. So I am logging into the application. Let us say Instagram. Okay. We have to log into
Okay.
Instagram and I have used my user ID and the password in the Instagram. Now there is a policy of Instagram that that the user password changes every 3 months. Okay, now every 3 months somebody has to go and change the password. Now Instagram will, so the same happens in our company laptops also, or company portals, right? It asks you to change the password. Now if you have such an application which is changing the password every, let's say, 1 month, okay, so how do you
Yes.
manage? So every time somebody would have to go and change the password in the asset, right? Because otherwise the
Okay.
application will fail. Agreed?
Yeah.
So how would we manage such things? So for example, if you are having an application, right? And so you would have to go to Orchestrator, change the password, or else you would have to share the password to someone else, right, to update it to the production Orchestrator. So is it good way to share the password? So first question, so let's say you reset the password, right? So will you share your
Yeah.
password to me and say that, okay Mukesh, you go and change my password, update the asset? You will share me the password via email or somewhere. So how would that happen, right? Ever faced such kind of scenario?
So as if I have faced a scenario as if we were storing the
Hmm.
asset in config file, and it was as if we have to update that.
Right.
So we were changing it in the config file, and we can't give everyone asset. We can just give some permissions as if uh,
Hmm.
to someone,
Mhm.
which is not preferred,
Mhm.
and only the SS system as if will be assigned to him, and he can do it.
Okay, okay, got it.
Only
uh,
that permission will be given to him.
okay, okay. So, Ananya, my last question to you would be, so assuming that you have to schedule a process, okay, and you have to schedule it on, let's say, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right? So, how I can do this in UiPath Orchestrator? Just talk me about the steps, how, where exactly you will do. So, I have given you a process, and I want you to schedule the process only for Monday, Wednesday, Friday, let's say 7 p.m. in the morning, same your case. So how would we schedule this process?
So by time scheduler, we can go there and
Hmm.
do it by.
Okay, so in the time scheduling, I will go and I will select Monday, Tuesday, like this, right? Now let's say
Yes.
I have a requirement, okay, where I want to just schedule the process on, let's say, 5, 5th, 5th, 7th, 9th, and 23, only these 4 dates of a month. So can I do this with the help of time scheduling?
By using CRON expression, we can do it. CRON
Okay,
schedule.
okay, okay. And cron expression will be written in the scheduling part only, right? Okay, so apart from the time triggers, so this was time trigger, we have one more kind of triggers available in Orchestrator. What is that?
Q trigger. Q
Q
trigger,
trigger.
sir.
And what is that? Can you just let me know what exactly are Q triggers?
Sir, as if I have a project,
Mm-hmm,
and I have to go and run that. As if
mm-hmm,
every time a new mail is coming, okay.
mm-hmm,
So if a new mail is coming, doing it manually, go and press OK. It will
mm-hmm.
automatically go to if we are using Q option. If it is getting any new item, it will process it. We will set it as if every time a new mail come, you do all the things.
Okay, so basically whenever something is adding to the queue, we just add the process and it takes the item, right? Okay. You would be working on Studio, right? So which version of UiPath Studio are you working currently?
Sir, right now I'm working on 2021.4.4.
2021.4.4. Okay, so you are using the pretty latest version of UiPath Studio. Can you tell me what are the new things which are added in 2021.4? Any one or two features which are added and which were not available in, let's say, 2018?
So as if I'm not using the modern version,
Mm-hmm,
I'm pretty much my hands are good on classic version. So on
mm-hmm,
the newest version, we are getting object repository,
mm-hmm.
and some features are changed. As if instead of recording, we are getting web, and stream stripping name is changed to data table, data extract table.
Okay, okay, okay. Uh, Fine, Ananya. So that wrap ups all of my questions. Okay. Thank you for giving. It was wonderful talking to you. Before I
Thank you,
just
sir.
go and give you a feedback, do you have any questions for me?
Uh, so I have a question.
Hmm.
Uh, Actually, if I am downloading a file, as
Okay.
if I am downloading any attachment,
Mhm.
and I want to change its name and save it into a folder, how can I do it?
Okay, so once you are downloading, so see, for example, when you download, right, and if the download option is presenting with an option of save as, right?
Mhm.
So if for example, if you go to, let's say, Chrome browser and you download something, at that time if you are getting an option to save as, so in the save as you would have option to change the name, but some application would directly save it with the default name, like let's say
Yeah.
untitled.pdf. So in those way it will be automatically saved to a particular location, and then you can use a move file activity. Okay, you will use
Okay.
the you move file activity and you will move it to the new location with the new name. Otherwise, what you can do is you can just simply write a code in UiPath to just rename the activity. Okay,
Okay, sir.
you can just use a rename activity and that will rename the file. Okay, so
Okay, sir.
now I'm just coming back to your whatever we have the feedback. Okay, so I'll just see. I
Okay, sir.
asked you about the project. You told me the project, that was very good, but just a suggestion, whenever you are explaining the project, right, just talk from the architecture. So you could have directly started that we have built this process in two part: dispatcher, performer. The dispatcher job is to just load the items to the queue, and then there is a performer bot who is able to adding and sort of getting data one by one from the queue and then iterating it. So that would give a kind of technical support to your project, that okay, you are talking directly from the technical as well as the functional point of view. Okay, so whenever you explain,
Okay, sir.
right, just explain in three parts. The first
Okay,
part,
sir.
what was the problem statement, what is your solution, and what are the benefits. So whenever somebody asks you, tell me the project, you just tell that this was the XYZ business user, they were having this issue, we automated this, now they are doing this, and this is the kind of benefit. Now then you talk about that in terms of technology, you have used the RE framework, dispatcher, performer, and that one, right? So apart from that, you have answered me very detailed, like let's say add queue item, bulk queue item, add transaction item. That was pretty good. You have answered me correctly with the dynamic selectors. Uh, Only the one thing, when I asked you about the email or that question which you have already asked me, that was the rename. So that move file you
Yeah.
guys would be using to move that file or rename it to something else, right? So my question was, where exactly will I store that path? So that path is as simple as that for example, if I am starting a process and I have to download the attachment and save it somewhere, right, that somewhere can be coming from a config file. So I can, in the config file, I can specify, right, c colon data, d colon data, and the bot will store there. But now the question would be, if the client is not having c colon data, d colon data, where would you store, right? So then there
Okay.
is a concept of environment folders. Okay, we use an activity
Yes.
which is called the get environment folder. In the get environment folder, you select the desktop or you select the downloads, and it will give the desktop and the download path as per that machine, and then you can continue your automation. Okay,
Okay, sir.
so in my channel there is a video on this get environment, you can refer that, and you will get an idea. Apart from that, that PDF extension thing, everything you answered correctly. The filter one, right? So when I ask you how do you actually filter, okay, so you answered me correctly that the output is list of mail messages, everything, but there is an option which is called the filter option, and in that filter
Yeah.
option you would specify that what exactly the date filter and everything will go in that filter option. So ideally, whenever we go with the email automation, there is one thing we do is we make the folder clean, so that when the next day the new emails are coming, it would be available, right? So how ideally it happens, you have a folder which is called new, and then you have something called deleted or the process folder. So at least whenever the bot is coming, it should have a good amount of number. Or you just simply say to the bot that you just read the top 30 emails, top 20 emails. In your case, you just told me that you are using the date filter, so that is also one of the approach, right? So you can just go and practice that, how you can use the top activity, how you can use the move email activity. Okay.
Okay, sir.
The question which I ask you about, that whenever you are adding items to the queues and it is getting appended, right? So that is simply
Yes.
that after 24 hours. So if I would have asked that question directly, what happens to the in process items after 24 hours?
Okay, sir. It got abandoned. Yeah.
Exactly, right? So
Yeah.
that was the question, that you
Okay. I didn't get your question actually.
yeah, so maybe I was not able to express it clearly. So the
No, sir.
simple
Actually, it was a tricky question for me.
okay, but now you understand it.
Yes, sir.
Right? So Monday you got, let's say, 50 items, 40 got processed, so the remaining 10 after 24 hours it will automatically get to the abundant state, right? And when
Yeah.
you retry and all, that entirely depends on the logic. So that was just, I made a tricky question for you. Okay, now the
Okay, sir.
GE handler, global exceptional handler, I would like you to go and read the GE handler more. Okay.
Okay,
uh,
sir.
GE handler, you have told me that that can be only one, but so not only G handler, I would like you to go and read about the exceptional handling. So then only you will get the
Okay, sir.
concept of G handler. PDD SDD. Okay, PDD SDD, you told me, but that answer was not so, uh, kind of satisfying to me, that okay, so PDD would be a document which is called the process design document, that will be used by the business analyst, and that will document that how business is doing that process. Okay.
Yes.
SDD would be a document that would be more from a developer point of view, that how the developers or the senior developers are going to make that process. So just
Okay,
read
sir.
about more about the PDD and SDD, so you don't have to go to much details, but at least the
Okay.
pinpoint differences you should be able to know, right? Okay,
Yes, sir.
then this credential thing, you answered me very good. This AES 250 thing, very few people who ever read the documentation or does the academic courses know that it is using that. I think it's 256 or 250, but that encryption is AES. So that was a good answer.
Yes, sir. 256.
It is
Thank you, sir.
256, right? So you told me 250, but
Yeah.
that is okay. So AES. CRON, you answered me correctly. That was again a tricky question, but you gave me that answer correctly. Q trigger answered correctly. 2024.4 answer correctly, but I would just like to say that just read about what are the new things which are added. I think you were not expecting this question, but whenever
No, sir.
you are
I was not expecting.
so whenever you are working on a version, right, at least you should know that what that version is providing you. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So
Yes.
apart from that, uh, it was awesome really talking to you. You have answered most of the questions correctly, so you just have to work on this thing and then you are good. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, any other feedback? How was it, the overall?
Yes, sir, it was very good. I will request you after some day if you are able to take my machine test also. So it will be very helpful for me.
Okay, okay, we'll conduct that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then we'll wrap this here. So
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
okay, thank you, bye
It was
bye.
really grateful for you.
Okay, thank you, thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, so that is all for this video. I would like to wrap this video here. Thank you for watching. If you like this video and found this insightful, please drop me a comment and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And happy automation.